Welcome back to the WantCast, the Women Against Negative Talk podcast. Lessons in moving forward fearlessly and spreading the good word. If this is our first time meeting, welcome. And if you've been listening for the last 9 seasons, welcome back. I'm Katie Horwich. I'm a writer, a speaker, a mindset coach, the founder of Want, Women Against Negative Talk, and the author of Want Yourself, Shift Your Self-Talk and Unearth the Strength in Who You Were All Along. This season is a really special one because it is the 10th season of the Want Cast. 10 seasons. That means that next year in 2025, that is going to be the 10th year of the existence of the Want Cast. That is bananas. Bananas. I could have never thought, actually, no, I'm going to take it back. I thought and I hoped when I started the WantCast in 2015, and that was right after I relaunched Want, which I consider Want's real birthday, even though I soft launched and thought of Want in 2007. I launched it for real, for serious, in 2015. I hoped that I would still be doing this 10 years later. However, in 2015, if you were paying attention to the way things were being created, especially online, there was a lot of uncertainty and things were starting to move what felt like really fast. Now, of course, looking back, I sometimes long for those times where it felt like things were moving slower. The last couple years have felt like things move at lightning speed. But I had no idea if podcasting was even going to be a thing in 10 years. So I crossed my fingers and hoped that I would be able to get to season 10 with you all. And here we are. And there are some of you who have been here since day one. I cannot thank you enough. And if this is your first time tuning in, I am ecstatic that you are here. And I am going to say it right here, right now. I envision and really hope that we can come back here in 10 years when we're celebrating season 20 of the WantCast, and we can look back on all of the good work that we did together and be so proud of what we've created. You know, it's funny, a lot has changed in the last, what's now almost 10 years, so 10 seasons of the WantCast. However, a lot has not only stayed the same, but we were on the right track early on, more than we thought we were. So here are a couple updates in the Want universe that I would love for you to get in on. So we are keeping the newsletter on Substack. I absolutely love the platform. I love that it helps build genuine community. And we are also going back to our roots as a multifaceted, multimedia platform that publishes once a week. So by subscribing over on womenagainstnegativetalk.substack.com, what you'll get is a post a week. You will get a tip, tool, motivation, inspiration tidbit the first week. The second week, we're going to be featuring someone who we are going to be talking shift with. So that'll be a profile on someone who inspires me, and I am pretty sure will inspire you as well. The third week is going to be something called Group Chat, which is going to bring you into the mix, where I will ask a question, a prompt, and we're going to take it over, hand it on over to you in the comments. That'll be everything from recommendations, like what TV shows are you watching right now that don't have people that are mad at each other or yelling all the time, to questions about how you are taking care of your mental health, to talking about people who inspire you that we need to know about. So that's going to be literally a group chat. And then the fourth week is going to be called Some Good Words. It's going to be a roundup of things that I am loving and that the community is loving, that we've talked about in group chat, that I believe can improve or enhance, rather, your life in some way, shape, or form. Everything from podcasts to products to articles that are really interesting. We are also going to keep going with the Want community, which is our paid, private, members-only club on Substack in the Want universe, where we pick a monthly theme, and then every single week we dig in a little deeper, little deeper, little deeper. You can subscribe to all of it. You can subscribe to a little bit of it. There are so many different options, so head on over to Women Against Negative Talk on Substack to check it out. And thank you to everybody who's subscribed, especially those $5 a month subscribers who are literally helping Want and the Wantcast keep going. We have so many good guests lined up for this season. I cannot wait for you to meet them. But for today, I wanted to keep it intimate and just me and you. And I wanted to talk about the season that we're in at this time of the year, which feels appropriate for the beginning of season 10 for the Wantcast. And it's something that I've been calling the pre-autumn reset. So I am recording this at the very beginning of September. Summer isn't quite over, but it's not quite fall. Right now in New York, we actually call this time second summer. It's what comes right after something that we call false fall, which is a period of time where it gets cool and crisp for like 2 days, and right before actual fall. But while the weather is changing and then changing back again, I feel like this shift in seasons is actually about something more. It's more of a mental and emotional shift. It's like first day of school vibes, which for me, as someone who always looked forward to the first day of school, is really, really energizing. Maybe it was me being naive, maybe it was my upbringing, maybe it was just my personality, but there was something about backpack shopping and picking out my outfits and getting all of the introductory paperwork as I got older, reading every single worksheet, getting everything day one. It made my heart so happy. I never really thought about the challenges that the new year, or grade rather, would bring, or in some cases, a new school altogether. Back to school season for me was my absolute favorite. It was a clear moment of transition, and I have always loved clear moments of transition. I've been talking to a lot of you, and you also associate this time of year with back to school season. The shift from summer to pre-autumn to full-on fall signals to a lot of us that there's something new that's coming. New friends, new challenges, new tests, new teachers, and our bodies and our brains and our hearts start to prepare for a new start. We start to hope for positive change, and we cross our fingers that we'll be able to handle whatever life dishes out in the coming months. So like I said, I've started to refer to this time as the pre-autumn reset. That period of time between summer and fall where you can feel the change in the air year after year. It's when any sort of stuckness from not just the summer, but the entire year so far kind of starts to feel like it's finally unsticking. I mean, I love January, and I love the beginning of the year, but for me personally, September is when the real momentum picks up and starts to carry us forward. And this September for me is particularly interesting because I have been laser focused on the goal of getting an agent, selling the book, writing the manuscript, and publishing the book Want Yourself for 6 years. 6 consecutive Septembers. 6 consecutive pre-autumn resets. And in there, we had like a whole pandemic. So I know that I'm not alone in feeling like the last few years have held a lot. And this year's pre-autumn reset feels less to me like pressing the reload or the refresh button, but it feels more like a full-on factory reset. So I don't know if you've ever done that with your phone or your computer or some piece of technology, but a factory reset is basically when you wipe the slate clean. You keep the essentials on whatever device you are working with, and you rebuild from scratch. You download the apps that work for you right now instead of relying on the apps that worked way back when. You repopulate the documents on your computer. You start to get new voice messages and new voicemails and enter new contacts into your phone. That's what this year feels like. And I'm really excited for it. This is a new that I didn't know that I needed. So if you're feeling the same way I do, I have a couple questions that I'm asking myself that I thought maybe you might want to ask yourself too. There's 5 questions that I think might help support you during this pre-autumn reset. The first question is, what is the big picture vision I have for my work and my life? So think back on the things that you've worked toward in your life and the things that you've achieved. And I'm not talking just about like really, really big long-term achievements like graduating from somewhere or a long-term project. I'm talking about the tiny things that make a big difference in your day-to-day. And if you think of those tiny things, one after the other, they start to add up, right? And they build this journey, this story that is your life. So, what is the big picture vision I have for my work and my life? It's not about just focusing on the forest or just focusing on the trees. It's about looking at all of the trees that make up the forest and seeing them both at the same time. The second question is, who can I look up to who's doing the real work? Not just what's trendy, popular, or the easy way out. This could be someone that you follow online. This could be someone in person, maybe a teacher or a family member or even an acquaintance. Who can I look up to who is doing the real freaking work? Not just what's trendy, popular, or the easy way out. The third question, this might be one of my favorites, is this is my life, no one else's. So what am I doing to honor it? Think about it. What about your life is unique? And how can you make sure that it stays unique? And if you get distracted by what others are doing, how can you redirect your focus? And when I say unique, I mean uniquely yours. What are the different rhythms you have during the day? What about your life, if it was written out or maybe played out in a movie where you don't know the character's name and it's played by another actor, what about your life would be recognizably yours? Like, oh, I know this movie. This was modeled off of my life. Or, yeah, these are the details that make me me and make my days my days. And it's really, really tempting to just do what other people are doing. So I really like that last question of if you get distracted by what others are doing, how can you redirect your focus? The fourth question is, what things are the most important to do each day, and how can I get them done while avoiding what I call routine addiction, which is that feeling of being so tied to your routines that they create more anxiety and rigidity than usefulness. I love a routine, I love a rhythm, but also sometimes routines can do a little more harm than good. They can keep us from experiencing surprise and delight. They can keep us on a path that once served us but no longer does. So what are the things that are most important to do each day, and how can you get them done while avoiding that routine addiction that might cause more anxiety and rigidity than you need in your life? And then the last question is, what practices are sustainable for me, and how can I keep myself nimble enough to pivot if necessary? It's kind of a double whammy, right? What practices are sustainable for you to do? Whether that is a mental health or self-care practice, or it's a work rhythm, or maybe something within your family. What practices are sustainable? And also, how can at the same time you keep yourself nimble enough to pivot if necessary? Kind of goes along with the routine addiction. So I'm going to repeat these questions again, and this time I'm going to use the word you instead of me so that you hear me asking you these questions, because It's really interesting. There's research around when the brain hears a question, it will basically channel all of its resources to figure out the answer to that question. So, here are the 5 questions. What is the big picture vision you have for your work and your life? Who can you look up to who's doing the real work, not just what's trendy, popular, or the easy way out? This is your life, no one else's, so what are you doing to honor it? What about it is unique? How can you make sure it stays unique? And if you get distracted by what others are doing, how can you redirect your focus? What things are the most important to do each day? And how can you get them done while avoiding routine addiction? And then last is, what practices are sustainable for you? And how can you keep yourself nimble enough to pivot if necessary? These are all big questions. And they're questions that maybe you want to journal about or talk to a friend about or talk to me about. I am here. You can email me at katie@womenagainstnegativetalk.com. You can find me on social media at Katie Horwich. I would love to hear what these questions are bringing up for you and what you're thinking your answers are for maybe one of them, maybe all of them. I would love to know. Because pre-autumn is the perfect time to evaluate where you've been, where you're at, and where you're going. It's a time to bring back, just like I described before, that childlike enthusiasm, that relentless joy, maybe even those first-day jitters you had as a kid, bringing those back. Because as far as first-day jitters goes, I mean, all worthwhile and exciting changes in life kind of bring up first-day jitters, don't they? This month and this season in general, I encourage you to look at what's worked, what hasn't, and what you truly desire in this moment. Not 2 months ago, not 2 years ago, not 2 decades ago, this moment. And if you're starting to see, like I just did, Halloween candy and Christmas decorations popping up at your local CVS or Target or drugstore, wherever you go, just take a beat and take a breath. I know that seems rushed, but remember that we've got 4 whole months, which is a third of the year left. That is the same amount of time as January 2024 through April 2024. So if you think back on those months, you did so much during that same period of time earlier this year. There is so much that is able to unfold in these 4 months, and probably some stuff that you can't even predict right now. We have so much time left. It's really all about what you do with it. And yes, of course, there's going to be challenges in the coming months, and when the leaves finally change colors and fall comes and winter comes, those are going to bring all kinds of highs and lows you could have never predicted. But if you can shift your perspective right now during this pre-autumn reset time, when it comes to what you want, what you're after, how you want to feel, and what you're willing to do to feel the way you want to feel, there is no telling what kind of magic the rest of this year has in store. And I am right here with you, cheering you on. That wraps it up for today's episode. I am so thrilled to be kicking off season 10 with you. We're here, my friends. We made it together. Thank you so much for taking the last 20 minutes or so and spending it with me here on the WantCast. I know your time is valuable, and I am just so honored every single time you show up, you download an episode, and you bring the WantCast into your life. As always, move forward fearlessly, spread the good word, and be the you know you're meant to be. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.